Wondering what to write about, trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just a scout? I don't know.
I don't know.
Spending time all alone, sending my songs to the phone, dreaming of a better home, while focused on trying to hone this craft, witchcraft. I hope the brujas let this last. I don't know.
That was Walter with Outside here on WNHH 103.5 FM. This is Behind the Brand, usually with Prestige, who I did find out he's actually on a mission to have tea with Bigfoot. And I think that is incredible. And I can't wait to hear about the journey. We'll talk to him about that on Monday. But today, we're here to have a different conversation. Today, we're here to make a brand new friend. Today, we are here to understand that here in America, it can be amazing when you have the character to truly say, I stay to myself. I can believe in you, even when some of the things you do might make me nauseous. And I can get tired of it. But even when global warming is knocking at our doors, I will still be rolling with you. And for that, we are here to welcome, all the way from Tennessee, one of the best stories in hip hop and in music and in radio. I want you to put your hands together. Not if you're driving. If you're driving, please keep your hands at 10 and 2. And I want you to fully put your hands together for the amazing, the phenomenal, the dude that is rocking in Tennessee, David Benton. How you been, brother? Welcome.
What it do? All is well, man. Hey, I love that introduction. That's an introduction right there, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Like, yeah.
Well, you want to know, I appreciate you. And for those playing the home game, I want you to go back and listen to the intro. I want you to research this man's music catalog, and you will understand what just happened. But for right now, we are here today. Now, you have been doing music for a while. Your story is extremely interesting. And just before we get too crazy and too into it, you can share as much or as little of your story as you want to. It's your story. Tell it as you want. If there's anything you don't want to talk about, just say move on and we're good to go.
I'm open.
But and I appreciate that. What really started that bug? Was music something you were born with, or was it something that found you, say, in a happy moment or in a dark moment?
Man, when it comes to our lives, the reality is, man, we all programmed. You know what I'm saying? So it's all who you come up with, how you was born. So me, man, coming up in a family, everybody was singers. So when I was growing up, that's all I heard: singing, dancing, singing, just entertaining one another. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have a lot of money, but we definitely had a lot of love. You know what I'm saying? So with that love, man, that's all our family did, get together and sing. You know what I'm saying? So I really wasn't part of the singing part of it, but I can, hold a little tune. So my mom, shout out to Evangelist Faye Molden. I'm my mama's baby, so she's an evangelist. And I used to go to church with her. And, one thing about my mama, she didn't make us go. She taught us about it and everything, but we took it upon ourselves when we did. Well, she kind of made me go a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But when I went, I would go to sleep. That's all I did was fall asleep. It was boring to me. I was like 8, 9 years old.
Right.
And she was like, look, you got to stop going to sleep. You need to find something to do. So I started writing rhymes, you know what I'm saying, in the church. And, I'm 8, 9 years old, but I'm actually talking about what I see. You know what I'm saying? That was the first time I was really talking about the reality. Even the people, so my mom, even though she went to church a lot, she cried a lot too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I saw problems in the church, you know what I'm saying? So me being 8, 9 years old, man, I started out like really writing, and they actually had me to start performing. So we had, everything was live. Of course, technology was different in the 80s. You see this, Gray, but it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? That's what I did. I would come with and rap about what I actually seen in the church. And people really, they liked it. You know what I'm saying? So when I seen how people actually was liking it, and how they was responding to this little kid actually with these type of words, when I got that response, man, it got at me. It was so impressive for me, and it encouraged me just to keep going.
Mm. No, it's super interesting because when you really break, I'm a musicologist. I love music history. I love to find out, where the person was standing when they wrote that line to that song, because the whole story of music really, 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 I truly appreciate. And I love how there are always so many similarities, because the story you're telling right now is the same story Aretha Franklin was telling. But because you're in the hip hop vein, no one's really going to understand that there's still that same type of connection that can happen, and a lot of, and there's also a lot of people who look or feel a certain type of way, don't really understand that touring live music really started from like the gospel circuit of, going from town to town with the tents, and going out there and having, 8 to 10 different acts, singing incredible music, or, putting on a show, that really also kind of intertwined with the carnival life. So the same people that were bringing out to you the word of God were also bringing out to you the bearded lady. And there's this just incredible connection between show and faith. But we hear that story in soul. We hear that story in rock and roll. We hear that story in blues, but we don't really hear that story in hip hop. Most people, they don't necessarily really look back, and see some of like more of the positive stuff that was coming out, especially in the early stages, like the early De La Soul and stuff like that, or Diggable Planets. They'll look at, they hear hip hop and they're automatically, everyone's got the drop top and the pants sagging and, carrying three to four somethings, and everyone's looking for a heater. It was January. Don't put the heat on in January. It's too hot out to begin with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's really the that they have. So to hear the reality that your career, and it wasn't your career as a soul artist that happened to fall into hip hop. You were a kid observing life and taking things in. And I also love the fact that you saw the reality in your mom. Your mom was a woman of faith, is a woman of faith, whether in this existence or not in this existence. But there was still struggle. And that's what I think a lot of people of faith do kind of try to forget. Just because you've turned your life around doesn't mean there won't be more challenges. You have to continue to push through and go on. And that is a perfect parallel also in the music industry. How many clubs have you played for, the other acts and their girlfriends, and half of the acts don't have girlfriends? How many clubs were vacant before, but it was some of the best performances you ever had because you were able to be free. And then you take that and you move on and you evolve. Through your evolution, how did you evolve from the church stage to, say, some of your local venues?
Being a product of my environment. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm going to church, but at the same time, the society raised you too. I got to go back to school. You know what I'm saying? And inside those schools are kids who just like me, using the profanity, doing everything that we don't supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, you don't want to be called the nerd or the cornball. So as I grew up, this is what I realized, because I always been my own person, my own man. You know what I mean? Even as a boy, I still felt like I was my own person. So like I was a nerd, but I wasn't a cornball. I was a nerd because I took intelligence serious. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I used to look at my peers and be like, man, being stupid ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? Being dumb ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? I felt like if I'm gonna make it in this life, I gotta have a form of intelligence. So I always took my grades serious, my intelligence serious. I wanted to be an intellectual person. I ain't really want to be a dummy. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like I said, we didn't have a lot of money. So me still rapping, understand now. Once I'm in the inner city and I'm rapping, I'm battle rapping. I'm 11, 12 years old. We battle rapping. Yeah. It's definitely not nothing religious. I'm rapping about now. I was rapping about what I seen in the church. Now I'm
Mm-hmm.
rapping about, even though I'm 11 and 12 years old, I'm in the inner city. So everything
Mm-hmm.
in the inner city, I seen it. So now I'm rapping about what I seen. And
Right.
you know what I'm saying? It's a dog eat dog world. So it's like, if you're trying to eat me, I'm gonna bite you. I'm gonna bite you
Mm-hmm.
first. So we battling, and I'm talking about, no, we ain't writing. Like nowadays, they
Mm-hmm.
say freestyle, we didn't write, period. Straight off top
Mm-hmm.
of the dome, whatever comes, gonna come. And I used to win all the time. So I
Right.
got my respect as far as that, but I was more of an athlete. So people didn't take me serious as far as the music, because I was an
Right.
athlete, man. I played basketball, football, everything you name for. I named, I got MVPs, so I was more, people felt I really was gonna make it in sports, but I had that gift to rap.
Mm-hmm.
So all the people who really felt like they was the rappers, I crushed them. I crushed them. So once I got out of high school, man, and my life took a turn. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about that later if you want to. My life took a turn. I still was rapping about the streets, because I was actually involved in them. Wasn't no gangster,
Right.
wasn't no thug, but I definitely was involved in them streets because I felt I was smarter than them, even though, they had a lot to learn.
Word. No, I could definitely see and understand that in particular. That's what I think is really, really incredible about your story, and the way that your story kind of evolves and moves through is it's stenched in reality. It's one of the top things that is so important, as we move forward and as we go through. I also love the fact that you did point out that it has become really, really good for the geek culture in the past 20 years. But the many years before that, um, you were rather ridiculed. I mean, there were full movies about geeks having having enough and taking down a whole college. There was that whole aspect of because you are different, because you don't fit into a particular mold, because you make other people question things, you are then looked down upon. But I find it so interesting that almost every single artist that I speak to, and again, being a music, someone who studies music history and all of that, all the artists that talk about it, they were all the weird kid. They were all they all kind of stuck out a little different. To be an artist, whether it be visual art, hip hop, regular music aspects of it, religious music, you have to be a little off. To stand in front of a whole bunch of people and just be super vulnerable, you've got to be a little off. It's just the way it goes. um and I do think that now we are starting to, at least some places, and again, I don't tell people how to believe. Do what you got to do and be how you need to be. But we are starting to really embrace that weird. We are starting to see that being cultivated, and it is challenging a lot more people's thinking. And some people are coming out of a place of hurt when they speak of the being different. um but you have been able to maintain positivity. We're gonna fast forward from the battle rap aspect of it, because I get it. Take no prisoners. You do what you got to do. It's tough out there. You got to call it as you see it. But when you get into the material you're releasing now, one of the things when we did the intro to the show, I had to remind you it's terrestrial radio, so we can't say all the fun words. And you're like, oh, those words aren't fun for me. It's not my brand. How do you maintain the positivity in a world that seems right now more than anything to be percolating in negativity? How do you maintain that positivity?
Um, Man, one thing, you know, I'm not really a religious person anymore. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
when I was reading the Bible like that, the Bible say, train a child up in the ways of the Lord, so when he will get old, he won't depart from it. So my
Mm,
mom put a lot of these seeds in me, man, a lot of character. You know what I'm saying? A lot of character
mm,
building. The reality is, I ended up doing 13 years in federal prison. I was in a gang. I was banging. I started out with a $50 double up of crack and turned it into a whole key, you know.
mm,
And so nobody fronted me. I hustled. I was on the grind. I used to see my partners out there, and I used to come home from college. I was broke in college, you know what I'm saying? So I used to see my partners, you know, they getting money. And I was just like, man, I don't want to continue to work at McDonald's, or I was working at Hardee's, and I was like, I don't want to continue to do that and struggle. I did catch a drug conviction when I was like 18. You know what I'm saying? So college, I didn't get a chance to really execute the degree in my field of sports medicine because I already had a prior drug conviction. But I was selling drugs, you know what I'm saying? So me being the person who I thought was super intelligent, which I was, but I used that intelligence for bad instead of for good, you know what I'm saying? What we would call it bad anyway, but it definitely was feeding my family. But when I did it, I used to be like, man, it's a number game. And I used to tell them, like, man, how can y'all be out here selling dope 3 or 4 years and you still in the same position? They're like, man, it ain't that easy. I'm like, man.
But you want to know what is easy? Sitting here talking with you on 103.5 WNHH, New Haven. It's behind the brand. Myself, Easy Blues, is filling in because Prestige is having tea with the new King Charles right now, and we appreciate that, and we look forward to talking to him on Monday. But we are here right now, continuing this incredible conversation with the amazing artist David Benton. Now, again, tell us, thank you for being so honest. What changed? Was it your time in, or was it your time out?
Both, because both is based on elevation. So when I went in, man, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was in a gang, got hit with conspiracy. And they gave me a 15-year sentence, 10-year supervised release, and a $4 million fine. And you know, I went in, and my first cellie had life in 30. There's no parole system in the feds. So my first cellie had life in 30, and I was complaining about my 15-year sentence. You know, I was like, man, I can't believe these people gave me all this time, man. They ain't caught me with nothing, man. All this ghost dope. They done charged me 150 keys, man. I ain't even have that much, man. And I'm complaining. He said, youngster, but you got a number. I was like, man, old school ain't trying to hear all that. I was frustrated. Just had my fresh time. He said, let me see your paperwork. So when I showed him my paperwork, my out date, I got locked up. I got incarcerated in 2002. So my out date had 2015. He threw his paperwork to me. He let me read it. His out date had deceased on it. So he said, understand, man. He said, prepare for home right now. He said, listen, you young still. I was number 25 years old. He said, you young. Make these people pay. But if you feel you don't supposed to be here, because I had quit like a year and a half prior, like on my own. I just didn't want to do it no more because I had businesses for real. Right. And he said, prepare for home. So that's what I did, man. I studied. I took up welding, HVAC. I really studied, man. I read. I really went with the buffoonery, man. And I concentrated on who I was raised to become. I didn't become who my mom was planning for me to be. You know what I'm saying? But I had to do it for me, not for my family. You know what I'm saying? But that's who I wanted to be better than this outcome. That's why I call my label Beyond the Fence, because I was behind the fence. And we all got fences we're trying to go beyond. Whether if you want to go biblical, David's fence was Goliath. Jesus' fence was the cross. But somebody else's fence might be drug addiction, alcoholism, whatever mine was prison. But it's a spiritual prison we going through. So I'm trying to help people go beyond that. So when I came home, I got a whole new mindset. I'm more mature now. You know what I'm saying? I went in a bar, now I'm a man. So I was like, well, I'm definitely not going to talk about, because I was with a group back in the days, and we sold like 30,000 copies on CD, man. We was doing our thing. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do that anymore, because look where I ended up in prison. So I was like, now I'm going to just speak that hard truth. I'm going to talk to the streets. At first, I started out trying to do the religious thing. It just wasn't for me. So I had to rebrand and just be David Benton, who I really am. So now I'm just trying to keep people out of prison. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to teach these females, listen, if these the type of guys you get, don't complain. A woman can change the narrative. Beautiful ladies, you can change that narrative. We only want what you asking for. We're going to become who you want. You want that thug, we're going to try to pretend like we that thug. You know what I'm saying? Right. So if you want that guy who, you know, who got something going on for themselves and talk with some sense and have some knowledge and really trying to grow in life to be a productive citizen, if that's what you desire, I'm talking majority of women. And if they expose this on TV, that's who we gonna become. So that's what I became with the music. But I'm so much more than music, man. You know what I'm saying? I still got the same hustle. I just switched the product. That's why I'm accepted. Same hustle, different product.
Well, see, that's something that I've always really, really understood. And again, thank you 100% for your transparency and your honesty. It really is like there's a lot of people who come from like where you come from, the struggle, that struggle type of aspect. They don't realize the skills they actually have. If you can run, a successful street economy business, you could run a successful regular business. It's the same aspects: supply, demand, product quality, making sure you're able to meet the demand, making sure that you're able to have the principal investment aspect to buy the first stages of the product, making sure you have trustworthy people doing, the man hours or human hours that are there, having everyone be accountable. It's all there. You get a business degree without a piece of paper. You just stop believing in yourself and you stop believing that you can do it legitimately, because the rest of the world is going to tell you can't. Because the rest of the world is going to tell you, well, you can totally do that corner store you wanted to do, but we're going to need, $75K down, and your insurance, it's just now you just got to refigure out the hustle. You got to refigure out, okay, what stuff can I bring in here with the highest markup potential to drive the capital that's necessary. It's the same thing you were doing before, but now, you believe you can't because you believe you are less than, and that is a lie. If no one takes anything else from this interview today, and you're ridiculous if you didn't, because there's some real gems that are being tossed around right now, understand that you are 100% worth the investment of doing better. This man started out writing rhymes because he was bored in church, decided to hit the street aspect of it and get into battle rapping, decided to go through the street aspects of things, wound up getting himself affiliated, decided he was done, but still karma came back and bit him in the ankle. And instead of folding and giving his life to the darkness, he led towards the light. This man has a radio show. This man has a Billboard charted single. This man has businesses. In 8 years' time, he has a record label. What was it like? Because again, in the world of Pound Worlds, and you stated it a little bit here, when you have that type of record, not a lot of people want to invest in you. A lot of people are telling you no. How did you get those yeses?
Really just to get on my own grind. I really wasn't even looking for nobody else's approval, because don't nobody owe me nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
So when I came home, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, I took up welding. So I became a welder, making $18 an hour, fresh out of prison. And I put in, and I hope this encouraged everyone who's listening, I put in over 100 applications in a week. Why? Because I got to have that ambition. Don't nobody owe me nothing, right? So I had to go get it. And when the money started coming in, I had to manage my money properly. That's called responsibility. When you break down the word responsibility, it's the ability to respond. So stop making excuses about this world like you can't do it. So all I did, man, was manage my money properly. The money that I did manage, I put my bill money, my children money, self money, but then the extra money I had, I put it in my business. I would invest in myself because I believed. I ain't expect nobody to believe in me. It was up to me to believe in me. So when people was trying to put doubt in my mind, I almost allowed doubt as far as rapping concerned, hip hop concerned. I was like, man, I probably start a label, get some artists. I got a son who's awesome, DB Jr. Shout out to DB Jr. Who's doing good, who's doing well with the music. But I was like, man, I'm too old to be rapping. And I talked to some brothers from federal prison and said, man, all that talent you got, man, all them shows, because they'll boo you in prison. It's hard in prison. Them brothers. Oh, yeah, 2,000 people booing at the same time. I'm telling you, and they never booed me. I got major respect in the Feds. So they was like, man, don't ever put an age on good music. They said, man, when it was hard rock, soft rock, country, why all people do that, DB? That's what they said, man. DB, man, why all people do that? It's a genre. If you go out and make good music, don't nobody care about your age. That encouraged me. That's what I needed. You know what I'm saying? So I had great people around me too, man, who really kept me encouraged, kept me going. So that's what I did, man. And it started out slow, but I just kept going. I just kept going. That's the point. Inconsistency will make you fail. I just remained consistent, had people around me who were just as focused. And it wasn't just about David Benton. I got a strong team. And because I have a strong team and we believe in one another, right? I'm a king, but I'm not nobody's boss. I'm just a boss to myself. Right. You know, I'm not their boss. They're their own bosses. You know what I'm saying? But you can't call yourself a king if you don't have no kingdom. Right. Right. So with me, I built a kingdom and establishment. I had a foundation of my own in a team that we worked together simultaneously, and we all built it together, man. You know what I'm saying? So now I got other artists. I do life coaching. Not only that, I do transformational speaking. This is what all music does. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been through something and they listen to the lyrics. And when I do shows like, you know, shout out to 103.5 FM. You did great shows like this, great interviews like this, man. This is how people book me. They're like, man, I love what you said. How much would it cost? At one point in time, I ain't had no cost. Like, right. You gonna pay me for it? Run it. And that's how I did, man. So now I got clients, man. I do these, you know, we have Zoom calls just like this. I do one-on-ones with kids. Their parents pay me, but they have seen the elevation in their kids. And because of that, you know what I'm saying? I practice what I preach. So when I talk, they're actually walking out their purpose. So when they walking out their purpose, guess what they're gonna do? Refer somebody else. Man, listen, this guy David Benton, he really can actually help your kid. He ain't just talking to him. He's actually helping the kid. So because of that, I keep my music clean because I realize who all listening to it. And it ain't just children, man. And plus, I rap to my generation. I rap to my generation, man. If kids pick up on it, man, it's a blessing. But I feel you got to be intelligent to listen to me. You know what I'm saying? Right.
No, I think it's incredible because, and I love how you so openly talked about the topic. Ageism in entertainment is just ridiculous. You know, to think that someone no longer has a valid story, you know, after a certain age, like we expire, our point of view expires. And you know, it's not, although it is super prevalent more in hip hop now, just because it is one of the younger genres where you guys are just kind of discovering that time. I look at hip hop as kind of like you're in your teenage years right now, you know, so somewhat disrespectful, so somewhat, you know, gonna say what they want, don't necessarily understand how they're dressing, don't quite truly understand if they're even saying real words. But you know, it's a teenager. They'll grow out of it. It'll be fine. You know, so it's really interesting that you take that step through and say like, look, you know, very, very dear friend of the show, very incredible human being, Mr. Council, R&B singer, hip hop artist as well, has really taken that step and said, okay, no, I'm writing grown folk music. We had Phil Blunt on the show, and he was saying, yeah, you know, when the young kids are like, well, you know, you're not doing it like this. It's like, yeah, but that person on your label, that A&R rep, he listens to my type of music. He grew up on my type of music. So they're going to want to listen to I make music for those people. And I just think it's incredible because I do think there are all these stories that need to be told. You know, people need to hear this. That's one of the reasons why Prestige and I do this show, you know, is to give this story. Your story is super, super interesting. And I love how you've gone into, and also like how you branded it from motivational speaking to transformative speaking. Genius. Well done. High five on that. It's just, you know, because anyone can call themselves a motivational speaker. It's a term that's been smacked around horribly. but transformative. And it is, you're speaking change. One of the most incredible things, if anyone's ever seen the Netflix show that came on from a show from years and years ago, Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. When you see these, people come in and for 2 weeks just give unconditional love to a single human being, you watch them transform. You watch them learn to love themselves. It is tough, and it is getting tougher and tougher with the way, we'll say, the greater story, especially of this country, is being told, to walk in unconditional love. How are you able to do that right now? Because again, there's a whole bunch of people who are going to tell you should be mad at this person because this and this and that. If you turn this on this way, you see it that way. How do you stay in this really, just pure, I see you for you type of aspect?
The reality is, man, everything is on self. We trying to find happiness outside ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We trying to find this satisfaction outside ourselves. We put stuff on YouTube and Instagram. We want the likes, but everything is about self. Once I started really understanding that I'm my worst enemy, then that's when I came to a conclusion, say, man, I can actually be the creator in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I can actually create the narrative in my life. So if I had to grow to love me, you know what I'm saying? Love yourself first. Understand that you're valid. Understand that you great. I got a slogan. I call it, and I actually, now go be great. I actually own it. I own it now. Now go be great. That's what I tell everybody. And so if somebody use now, I own it. I said,
just so you know.
Yeah.
You got to put that paperwork in there, man.
Yeah, I had to handle the business side, baby. But yeah, man. So it's like I want people to become a better version of themselves every day. But I had to practice what I preached first. So the love, man, for real, man. I know how I feel about me. I know what I want out of me. So really, man, when I look at human being, because I feel it's only one race, and we all say this, and it's sometimes cliche, but it's only one race. That's the human race.
Right.
We just all have different ways we look at the world through our own lenses. You know what I'm saying? So by me being a Black man here in America, we understand what have existed, but I don't sit up there and use it as a tool and keep making excuses to fail. We got to get out of that mindset. So with me, man, loving everybody, because I see the potential of where you can be if you have a paradigm shift. I call it the green eggs and ham effect. You know what I'm saying? So you want the green eggs and ham? Would you eat it in a house? Would you eat it with a mouse?
Right.
Would you eat it in a train? Would you? He's like, I won't eat it. And then you shoved it in his mouth, and he noticed it was good.
Right.
Then he was like, I will eat green eggs and ham in the house. I will eat it with a mouth. Because now the way he was looking at life, he sees a whole different perspective. So we got to change our paradigm of how we see it. Just because we see it doesn't mean that's, like it's that accurate. Sometimes we could just see it completely wrong till we really, you know what I'm saying, free our minds. So man, that's what I do. I carry it with my lifestyle first. So when people meet me and they see, man, I'm gonna tell you what I don't like.
Okay.
I can have an intellectual conversation with someone. As soon as I say I did 13 years in prison, they feel they have to dumb the conversation down.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, now you got to have a paradigm shift. So now I come. That's all I'm doing, man. I just walk through life, bless people, man, and help people bless themselves. Then you can bless others. But you got to love yourself. I tell people it's not selfish to love yourself. We're looking for happiness outside of us, and it's never going to happen. You buy a house, it's momentarily. You ain't
Well,
gonna
no,
like it in
yeah,
5 years.
exactly. It's just that quick little impulse, and I think it's really funny how we both kind of have somewhat of a spiritual background, and both made decisions where decisions needed to be made. But in this conversation, this is going to be now, I think, the fourth time we're going back to kind of like a biblical reference. If there's a parable, how do you take, a splinter of wood out of your friend's eye when you have a plank of wood sticking out your own? First, you take the plank of wood out of your own eye, and then you can help your friend. When you're on an airplane, the stewardess, flight attendant, whatever you want to call them, says, "Hey, in case of an emergency, put your oxygen mask on first, and then help your significant other, your child, the weird person sitting next to you that was fighting with you for the armrest, because you should still help them, but get yours on first." So you really have to address that, and I think that is one of the key things that those playing the home game really should be taking out of this. You have held yourself accountable. You have continued to put the work through. You are not sitting back wasting time or energy on the excuses train, which, valid or invalid, does not matter, because they hinder your progress, so they are a problem. You put the work in, you got the certifications that are necessary, and you also didn't stop there. Some people be like, "Oh yeah, I got that welding job, $18 an hour. Now I'm good." Because in 10 years, 20 years, I can retire. I'm going to be making top salary. I'll get my little gold watch, and I will then live a life unfulfilled because they don't necessarily feel they deserve that fulfillment. You are here to tell people different. You were here to tell people that no matter what, they can and they will move forward. No matter what, they are going to find that next aspect. No matter what, they are here on Behind the Brand, WNHH 103.5 FM. Myself, Easy BlueZ, sitting in for Prestige, who, from what I heard, was flying balloons with China. But that's cool. Do what you got to do. We still love you, and we look forward to talking to you on Monday. But we're here with David Benton right now, talking about incredible journeys, talking about loving yourself unconditionally so you can love others. So what's coming up? What do we can look for in this year? What's the new adventure that you were about to take down? Because I could see it, man. You got that big game hunter look in your eye. So
Oh, yeah.
what are we looking
Yeah.
at?
Like I said, man, our label is Beyond the Fence. Beyond the Fence Enterprise. It was entertainment, but I'm so much more than music. So we changed the enterprise because there's so much entities inside of the enterprise. So, look for myself, David Ben. We did a Beyond the Fence. We did a tour last year, man, and it was spectacular. Shout out to all the artists: G. Will, Miss Alma E. Neely, The Jewel, Lockstar, DB Jr., Jay Samuels, Miss Tanya Caesar. Yeah, and so we all coming out with something, man. Right now I'm just working on my next EP. You know what I'm saying? It's called Blackout. And I'm gonna have some major features. Yeah, like gonna be some major features, man. Your boy done came up. And people be like, think I be bragging because I be talking about I got 6 figures now. But it ain't bragging, it's like motivation, because I'm trying to explain to people I'm not getting it in one way. I'm getting it like 6 or 7 different ways. You know what I'm saying? So with this music, I just learned how to work the system in the music. It just made music that I like. And the music that I like, people gravitate to it. So just get ready, man, for more music. People really gravitate to the music because of who I am as a person. If people gravitate to you, understand this: Tupac was doing his thing. He always was a good rapper. But we really didn't really start paying more. We paid more attention after he got shot 5 times and was able to live to tell the story.
Right.
50 Cent, 9 times. He got shot more than Tupac. He went diamond. Why? Because of his story. So people will gravitate towards you as the person. Then they'll go check out your music.
Right.
So that's why I always want people to get to know David Benton, the guy first, because a lot of times, you got independent artists who be so Hollywood, they just don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because they
Right.
trying to be these artists we see on TV, and that's just not the reality of it when you independent spending your own money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So what they're gonna see from me, man, Beyond the Fence, the whole label, we
Right.
coming. You know what I'm saying? I do have a lot of shows lined up. Shout out to every promoter who booked me, man. I stay getting booked. It's beautiful when you get booked this much. Like me, man, you just independent and still got this gray, and I'm rapping and I'm doing my hip hop with the best of them. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. So y'all go to YouTube, check out the
Mm-hmm.
videos. David Benton. That's what my mama named me. My mama's baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm the youngest of 6. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Check me out. Y'all can even go back and listen to the religious stuff. You want to go to church, you want to give your praise to the Lord, you even go back there too. I got that for you too. But I'm talking to the streets, I'm talking to corporate, I'm talking to everybody, I'm talking to reality. Y'all want to listen to reality? Y'all always talking about how bad hip hop is and too much negativity. But David Benton is not negative, and I got something for you to ride to. You want to ride to it? I got it for you. You want to, you want to dance a little bit? I got it for you. Whatever you got, whatever your desire is, David Benton had it for you. Beyond the Fence in the building.
No, that
103.5. We in here. Yeah.
but that's what's so incredible is no matter what you're moving forward, and as you move forward, you're not just going forward, you're going forward with a hand back. You're there to help elevate the next generation. You're there to help elevate those people that are moving forward. You're here to listen, but also talk, because that's one of the key things, especially with working with children. Although sometimes they'll just go out and say more nonsense than in a history of nonsense and say some things that you just don't truly understand what was going on, but you're there to listen to them. Now, for those people, unfortunately, the Apollo curtain is starting to close in upon us, and they're starting to say that it's about that time, as Lizzo once said. We are here to say it today. Today is going to be all about you right now. I want you to tell people how they can connect with you, how they can book transformative sessions, how they can get some of the youth involved with you. How can they find you? How can they talk to you? How can they invest their dreams in your dream to move forward together? The floor is yours, sir.
All right. First, we have, if you want to book for transformational speaking or anything, or one-on-one sessions, is life coaching, then go to About Building Leaders at Gmail. That's About Building Leaders at gmail.com. And you can book not just myself, Jay Samuels as well. We have a company called Let's Talk Business, LLC. And we will contact you. We'll get right back with you. We do take it serious. You know what I'm saying? We do help people build their businesses as well. We always brag about this. You know what I'm saying? We got 100% success rate. But you can also find us on come to Beyond the Radio. And to find us on Beyond the Radio, we have a radio show. That's what we do. We talk about life, and we do use the Bible at times. We take these principles of Scripture to help you to do some better life. Actually, what it says, so you can follow it. But also you can go to Beyond the Fence. That's BeyondTheFence.org. That's our website. You can go to beyondthefence.org and you can reach us. And man, go to my Facebook, David Benton. You go to Beyond the Fence Facebook. Go to my Instagram, TikTok, wherever YouTube. Understand, I'm my mama's baby. Go to David Benton, and that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna find me wherever there's a platform. You'll find Faye Molden's son. Faye Molden's son, Faye Molden's baby, right there. David Benton, my mama's baby. Yeah.
Now, without giving away all the keys to the mansion, can you give that artist that is starting out right now, just for the first time, putting that pen to the piece of paper, one tidbit of inspiration before they move forward?
Believe in yourself and trust the process. Stay positive.
That is
go
amazing.
get you a long way, man. Character go get you a long way.
So much so it's actually referenced on your record, which they can pick up right now on all the streaming platforms. You have a song called Character, which is amazing. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being as vulnerable and as open as you are, willing to share that story with us all. We truly appreciate it here on Behind the Brand, WNHH New Haven 103.5 FM. My name is Easy Blues. We're here with David Benton. I think for the first time I've run a solo show live, I think we did pretty good. If you have any hate mail, feel free to send it to Prestige. I believe he is again back to hanging out with Bigfoot, trying to, I think they're out there trying to find the Loch Ness Monster. I believe they teamed up. It's going to be a buddy show on Hulu. It'll be amazing. We can sit and all watch it together, have a nice little streaming party. But right now, again, love and respect you. We've got your single playing that your Billboard charted. Can you tell them a little bit about the song before we go live with the song?
Yeah, fly high, man. You know what I'm saying? You can be greater than your circumstance. You know, stop looking at ground level, just keep looking up, you know, and just fly. And I got some brothers with me from my city who I respect lyrically. And we just did our thing, man. And they call themselves good guys. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that's what we did, man. Just got them together and we had fun with the song, man.
That's awesome. And where'd you record about it? Like, where'd you record the track and everything? For those people that are looking for those extra connections.
Well, I recorded it right here with my engineer, Baby Boy, right here in Knoxville, Tennessee. I got an apartment in Knoxville, and I got a house in Georgia. So, you know, that's how we do. We pay bills over here, man. We pay bills. Just keep the right people around you.
Yeah, and so again, such an incredible story that you went out there and you 100% made it yourself, built it your own. You know, as some of the artists that truly out there understand this line perfectly. When you own your own masters, you become your own master of your destiny. It is a key thing to do, and we do understand that in this industry. We just wanted to say, you know, we love you and respect you. But once again, I am Easy Blues for Behind the Brand, 103.5 FM, WNHH New Haven. David Benton, thank you for being here, and we are out.
Thank you. I salute you both.
That's for you to ask yourself, is you gon' sink or levitate about the game when they be playing, steady tricking, they be playing it. Wanna make you dumb so you never make your kingdom come. What they on? Time to stack and build a throne. I've been down and out so long, I grew some wings with feathers on it. Ain't no opponent, just little me on me. And that little light gon' shine, put that all on G.O.D. Yeah.
I want to fly so high.